Okay, so we've got the second B post in, and the seal is on, and now I'm starting to figure out what I need here for my quarter windows. I've put the track in just with one screw at the top so I could swing it in and out. I'm going to have to do some build up to, it wants to twist normally, so I'm going to have to keep it in this plane here in order to receive the glass properly. Also, I'm going to have to trim the top here. Since I trimmed the doors off for that window whisker, I'm going to have to trim it off the same amount, but I need to follow the window so that the window whisker, hugs the window. These have a tendency to widen out in the back, so I have to get the window in here and back engineer from the glass. So inside here, what I've got is I've just got a temporary rig. These are my adjustable body stands, and I just put welded a piece of 3-inch steel down there to the floor, just so I'd have something to prop the glass up with. This is just a pipe insulation, just pushed over top of these little outriggers, and these loosen, and I can raise and lower these, so I can set the glass on the inside and push it up into the track and see what I have as far as the gap is concerned, because I want to start with cutting this gap first. But anyway, that's where we are with that. I'll show you what the glass fit in there. Okay, with the piece of glass in and the space over here, shoved up into this seal over here, and you can see it's laying on this seal over here against the B post. And you could also see that this is inboard of where I have this window whisker on the door, because I narrowed this part of the door. So now I have to make this even so that I'll be able to put a window whisker in there also. As you can see, basically at the front of the glass here, I have about a little bit less than a quarter of an inch of space right here. And then as you get gradually to the back, it's almost a half of an inch gap. So this will obviously be my widest point, and then I'll taper down to here and make that even. Fortunately for us, I got a kit of that one-piece glass that eventually I want to put into my car, but I already have window whiskers in there, so I have an extra set of these window whiskers, so I'll be able to make up a set for this rear glass application over here. So this is going to slip in here like this, but I'll be curling the end up like this in order to just kind of roll up the end over here. So that's how that's all going to look. And then it'll basically be cut here, and hopefully it'll all flow together and look real nice. Anyway, that's the direction I'm heading in. So with the window mocked up in place, you can see that it's held up on these body stands with the foam on them. I was able to determine how much I needed to cut off this top edge so that I could fit this in here nice and neatly, and it rolls up nice and tight against the glass. This is all the way up in the seal here, and it's about halfway on the seal over here. So now I've gone ahead and was able to slip a piece of paper between the window and the body, and I came up with a shape for the panel that's got to go back behind there and attached to the door ledge in order to support the window. So I'll be going on and making that out of 70,000 steel, and that's what I'll be up to next. Still refining the fit, but this is basically what I ended up with. We have 70,000 steel here, and we are bent over at the top. This fits up underneath of the existing door ledge on the outside. This is a little trough that would catch any moisture that would make it past the window whisker on the outside. I'm going to have to put a drain in here somewhere along the line in order to drain out any water that would get in here. Then the rest of this will be welded up solid all the way around the perimeter, so that this is a completely closed area for the glass. Anyway, I'm just going to put it in place over there so you can see what it looks like in the car. It's a little dark in here, but hopefully you can see how this is fit in. The tray actually goes downhill towards the back of the car, so I'll probably put the drain in back near the back of this tray. There's other things that have to happen to this. I have to create attachment points for the window, build out a 3/8 inch block to block the window off the outer edge, about 3/8 of an inch, and of course attach the drain, before I can weld it in. So I've had this thing in and out about 10 or 15 times, trying to come up with the proper spacers and the location of everything, fitting the glass in and out. Luckily, I've got the actual glass that's going in this car. I started out working with a piece of OEM glass, and it's about 1/8 of an inch difference in the height of the glass, and that makes all the difference in the world when it comes to putting it in that upper seal and having everything play out right. So it's a good thing the glass came in. So I've got these two welded nuts that are welded to the back side here. They correspond with the holes in the glass, and I'll be bolting this that glass up to this backer plate, just the way I did with the pieces that are we can't see them now, that are up inside these doors. At any rate, I had to play around with different spacers on the back side, about 3/8 of an inch spacer. I came up with here, soft plastic. It's just this corrugated fiberglass here, and then I added just a piece of 1/8 inch, it's like PVC, and I held it down from the top because this is where the window whisker is going to attach to, along here, and this is what the glass lays up against. I also have a spacer that goes down in the bottom here for the glass to sit on. Nice soft plastic to go there. I'm also going to wrap this little rim with some bedding material so that we don't hit the edge of the glass on this hard sheet metal. It's pretty close in there. I probably should have made this a little bit wider, but it works. Anyway, right now what I'm doing is determining the through bolt areas here. I've got to drill out this spacer, and then I've got to paint the whole mess with some weld-through primer before I put it in the car. There's also, I added the drain piece over here, a piece of 1/2 inch tubing. And the gift that keeps on giving is my the donor car for my 2006 SRT8. I have a what do you call it, a sunroof. I needed some hoses to create the vent, and you see this one has a 1/2 inch end on it, so that fits right on there just nicely, and I'll put a clamp on that, and that'll feed out through the wheel well. Anyway, yeah, on to the next thing. All right, I just thought I'd show you what this looks like in place here. You can see the drain at the back. This has been plug welded through this top edge here. So that's double thickness right there. 0.45 for the sheet metal on the car, and 0.70 for the sheet metal underneath. Later on, I'll go back and fill that in with some panel adhesive to seal that seam up there, right behind where the window whisker is going to go. And you can see this creates a little tray here in case any moisture gets past the window whisker. It'll be guided out through that hole in the back. Anyway, I thought I'd show you that before I start piling things in here. Okay, so that's what it looks like with the window whisker attached and in place. Now I'm going to put the packing in and get the glass in there and see how that all looks put together and how easy it is to go in. Or not, because I didn't have the window whisker in when I was pushing the glass in before. Okay, so this is what it looks like with everything installed. You can see the window whisker fits nicely up against the glass, nice and tight. The glass is up inside of this molding, just like it would be if it was an operable window over here. So we've substituted for that rubber molding that is on the Challenger with the actual molding. We've got a little space behind here also. If there's an issue with a little air leakage, we could always work something in here, put another bead in here Also, we could also put a black frit right here if we wanted to run a permanent sealer on the back side. That would hide that. So it's pretty good the way it looks. Pretty good the way it is, and that's what it looks like with the other door, or excuse me, with the door and the other glass closed up against it. So anyway, and you can see I've tried to line these pieces up over here as best I could, and that's the result of me cutting that off. At any rate, that's what it looks like from that side. Let's just get in here a little bit and show you what else is going on. Okay, you can see over here these bolt-ups. They have a washer with a felt backer on them, and they're just snugged up over here. There's a spacer that holds everything consistent across the whole panel, so when you tighten it up, it's not pivoting on either point. It's spreading the load across that soft panel right there, and then you can see the window whisker over here. Of course, all this will be hidden by the door panel, which will come up to even with the window whisker over there once we get to that part of the build. But anyway, I'm pretty happy with this. I've been thinking about this since I built my car. Last car, we had different seals, so I wasn't able to execute it the same way as I've done this one. But this is a pretty tight fit. Also, we have a nice rubber gasket already in place over here to wrap around our headliner. I'm going to have to do a little transition piece here where it hops over around the B-post, but it picks up right over here, this rubber gasket. So I'll back engineer from the rubber gasket so that we get a good transition to the headliner when we get around to making that. Anyway, I'll rinse and repeat. In case I hadn't showed you this already, which I'm pretty sure I have, in order to make sure that the through bolts on the glass don't contact the edges of the glass, I take this silicone hose, which is a 1/2 inch outside diameter and a 1/4 inch inside diameter, and I basically just cut sections of it. And when I do my through bolt, this ends up flush with the top surface of the glass. And then I'll take a washer and put that bedding material on the back side of it, glue it on with some contact cement. That way that when the washer contacts the glass, it's a nice soft surface. And then I'll just through bolt that with the 1/4-20 and just snug it up in the bed. Anyway, just thought I'd show you that in case I hadn't already done that. So that's side number 2 installed. What I'll have to do now is back here, this plate here, while it's nice and firm over here where it's at the door pillar, you could swing it in or out. So I want to make sure with the glass in place and letting the glass guide where that tray goes. In other words, it can swing right now from here. In other words, it can waggle a little bit. I'm going to have to run something up from the rocker, probably some of that stock right there, up from the rocker to secure the back part of that window bed, to make sure that when I take the glass out that, it doesn't swing in or swing out, to where when I reinstall the glass later on, that the glass breaks because it's the bed's not complying exactly with the surface of the glass. Anyway, a lot of dribble-dravel there. That's what it looks like from the outside. And so I'll have to do that reinforcement next. All right, so I've made up a couple of these 1 by 3 inch 49 wall brackets. It's got a slight bend in it and a bevel at the bottom where it meets the rocker, and that's to stabilize that quarter window tray. Got one installed over here on the passenger side. And that's it right there. You can see it goes down to the rocker, welds to the rocker. You see a couple of screws up there. I'm not going to weld that up until I get that glass back out of there and get all the plastic and shims and things like that out of that tray. And then I'll weld that up solid on the top. That just basically keeps, you take a look on this side over here. Without that, I'm able to just wiggle this piece. It's not that, I mean, with the glass in, it's pretty stout, but without the glass, it can wiggle pretty good. So I don't want to take a chance of getting it welded at the wrong angle. So right now, that's just secured over there with a couple of screws. But it's welded to the rocker, and it'll be welded up 100% once I get the glass out. All right, it's just time for one last look at this glass before I take it out and get it out of harm's way, pack it away until we get closer to a final assembly. No need to leave it in the car, and you know, while I'm welding up anything else or preparing anything else. So we'll get it back out of the car and pack it away. So with the windows out, I took the opportunity to get in here and finish out this door jamb and blend this B-post down into the existing door jamb at the bottom here, the strike plate area. What I had done here was I took a piece of 045 square tubing, and I bent it to this shape here and also to this shape here, and tucked it down inside over here behind where the rocker joint will be at the pinch weld. And then I ran it up here and finished this out over here and joined this seam. So this is a continuous seam all the way down into this curve over here. Added this return flange 3/4 by 1/4. Got someplace for this finish rubber bead to go on there in the finish out. Anyway, so we're going to do this on the other side, obviously. The other thing that I played with a little bit while I was poking around was I needed to do something about this area here, since we don't have the old seal in here. This area here is a big wide open spot, so I was puzzling over what to do about that, and I basically chopped the bottom off of the existing leftover piece from the A-post on the Challenger, and I basically whittled at it a little bit, and blended it, and I still have to cut off probably from here down just to clean it up a little bit, but this complies really well with the door, closes up this big gap that's normally taken up by the base of the seal that runs throughout the entire roof area, this roof rail area, and comes down, and then there's a finished piece here that screws up into there. Anyway, I got this piece, I got to do the other side. So again, a situation where do one side and get on over and repeat the process over here. All right, working on the passenger side, door jamb a little bit, trying to tighten it up a little bit here and there. I finally got the actual bumpers, rubber bumpers that go on the door. I had some temporary spacers there, and so I wanted to make sure that I was making contact with the jamb here. It was missing by about 3/16 of an inch down here, so I had to build this sheet metal down straight here and build this out just a little bit until, as you can see, I put some tape on here and just hit it with a paint marker real quick and then shut the door to see if I was making contact, and right now I am. I also had to build this corner out a little bit more so that I was making contact. I want that to be to where when the door is latched, the door's not able to rock back and forth like this, which would cause the window to loosen up. So I've got to go around the other side. I've got a spacer on there, 3/16 at the bottom. Then I have to fill it in with a piece of sheet metal and do some other doodads. I don't think I have, on that side, I don't have to build this out. It's hidden pretty good on that side. Anyway, lots of little stuff that you got to pay attention to. I don't always catch them all, but when I can, I do. Finally, a little coat of zinc chromate self-etching primer in order to just keep the flash rust off of it. And that'll be it for this week. I appreciate everybody watching, and I will see you on the next one.